Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, daughter has gonna
Oh, we had serve controversies. You guys want to talk about that?
I'm down to talk about that. My father-in-law was along at his bachelor party, and he came away with the impression that maybe it's like he was like, is Dekel like a villain? Like it kind of like seems like people were cheering against him when they finally started calling some of these replays, and that's not something I'd ever watching so much pickleball. I don't think of Dekel as that guy's a villain, but he was like, is he a villain? Like why were people so happy to see this get called?
Yeah, and Zane, you're not a villain, but you're like a shithead sometimes, right?
he's
Most
like
of the time.
he's chaotic good, chaotic neutral maybe if you're on the alignment chart. Yeah.
Wait, what does that mean?
Well, if you like Dungeons and Dragons, you can be like lawful good. You're like chaotic neutral to good somewhere in there. So
you just alienated 95% of the audience. Guys, please don't drop off.
Sorry about that one.
Wait, so do you think people like me or don't like me? I still don't understand.
They like you because you've got like a mischievousness streak about you.
Yeah,
like, you know,
right.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. I like to push the buttons.
All my D&D people, support me in the comments, please.
I bet you there's more of them than you'd expect.
Yeah,
You know,
it's pickleball. This is like such a interesting.
We're all a bunch of nerds.
Yeah.
So
At least the ones watching pro pickleball like tweeting. Everybody has some weird like side hobby or something they came up on, like Dungeons and Dragons.
yeah.
Hey man, we're in the mainstream now. Dungeons and Dragons, comic book movies are like the biggest grossing movies. Nerds have already taken over the world.
Hell yeah, brother.
I'll keep telling myself that.
Yeah, I was surprised how much like jeering there was when these
Yeah.
serves were called reserves.
Yeah.
So, to be fair, Dekel is a big dude, and also he makes his serve look kind of ridiculous, right? Like he's up on he's up on his toes to be as high as possible. Like he's making contact as high as possible. But the real reason that people have problems with Dekel's serve is because it's good. It's because he rips it. If he did the same exact motion. So here's the thing. Sometimes Dekel gets tight and doesn't hit the serve hard. Nobody complains when that happens. He gets tight and he pushes the serve in.
And I feel like you couldn't help but get a little tight when they're calling that many replays on you. Like it had to be a factor in that game, just like the mental aspect of that.
Well, yeah, that was the wild part. So we haven't had redos on serves since 2023.
I was confused. I was trying to explain, like I was with people who never watched before, and I was like, I'm actually confused. I was like, I don't know why they're getting so many replays. I didn't realize the distinction was calling a questionable serve versus calling a fault. And I tweeted that, and then the Dink was very quick to correct me and guide me what was happening. So
Right.
Thank you, Dink.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Dink.
Because it was the redos. It was the ref wasn't calling faults. The ref was
Did call
calling
one.
I can't tell. And then eventually they called a fault. So you guys were able to challenge it once he makes a ruling one way or the other. They review it, they overturn the call, and now he gets to serve again.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Like I said, watching it real time, like if you're not a very well trained eye, you're gonna think that Dekel's serve is illegal because he hits it hard and he's big, right? I think Dekel said this before, and I'll say it right now. Somebody send us a screenshot. If you tweet at me a screenshot. If you find a screenshot of Dekel hitting an illegal serve in a PPA match, I'll give you $20. Find me one.
That's easy. Frank, get on it.
Frank, get on it. Anybody, get on it. I will pay you $20 if you can find one of Dekel hitting a illegal serve.
And just to clarify, what he was calling as questionable was the paddle face being above the wrist at contact. Was that really what it was coming down to?
It was primarily the paddle head issue. The paddle head has to be below the level of the wrist, and he called one or two that were questionable on contact height,
which is the waist thing.
Which is the
weight
waist.
Conversation.
Referees interpret the waist as where they imagine your belly button would be.
Right. And then Dekel getting up so high, like that's so now he can serve from higher, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's just like raising the level of his waist.
Yeah.
Which is another advantage.
Yep.
So they have to watch that. They have to watch the wrist to paddle face.
Yeah, I mean, none of them are things that you can call in real time,
yeah.
right? Like, and we're going to maybe get some screenshot submissions and stuff, and we're going to still be having this argument. Like, I'm going to see it one way, other people are going to see it another way. Like, you can't even really call these in slow motion. unless they're egregious.
And it feels like this whole serve thing, like ever since Grayson Golden tweeted out, oh, look, they're adding an extra line to the court, like the whole de-weaponize the serve conversation really like kind of became like the topic. And this feels like we're reaching a crescendo where like something has to come from this. You know, like we talked about bad line calls for so long, and we're getting close call replay. We've talked about paddles for so long, and well, maybe that still hasn't been resolved, but like it's just something has to be done here. Like this was a good exclamation point on this as an issue. Like you can point to a gold medal match here where there were like 8 replays and like a fault called, and nobody knows what the rule is or how to enforce it.
Yeah, we had a new rule.
Yeah.
What do you think we need to do? What's the progression
Honestly,
on the serve?
I just call it a day. Let's do drop serves, and then we never have to talk about it again, and we can talk about other stuff.
I'm with you.
That's what I do. It basically gets to the point where when I'm tired of a topic, we need to do something about it because we've talked about it too much. And I'm tired of talking about de-weaponizing serve. So just do something, make a decision, and let's do something.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an enforcement problem. I'm with you. I think we need to do drop serve. I don't think that statistically the serve is an issue, but the enforcement of the serve definitely is.
And as we've seen on your pros for 5-0s, even going to an overhand serve isn't even all that effective for some people.
And that'll do it. Maddie, thanks for coming on.
That's like, I got glared at there.
Zane just went quiet.
I was gonna let you take that one.
I didn't know this was a sensitive subject. I apologize.
No. So hypothetically, though, let's just say they said, all right, everything's the same as it was in Vegas, but they don't care about paddle face to wrist. Like that is just, we're not going to officiate that. Would that really have much of an impact?
The top part of the paddle being below the level of the wrist?
Yeah. As long as it has to be below the waist?
As long as you still had the waist requirement, it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
Right. So then we'd essentially eliminate all that shit that just was going on in that final match.
So yeah, I mean, I think you can eliminate the contact height requirement as long as you can eliminate any one of the 3 service rules. If you have 2 of the 3 USAP service rules, you have any one of the 3 USAP service rules taken out won't have an effect on the serve, really. If you take out the contact height requirement but still have the other 2, you're not going to have too many faults, because the way that I explained this is if you take out the contact height requirement, but you still have to have the top part of the paddle below the level of the wrist, and you still need to be swinging in an upwards motion, you can't really make contact any higher without discomfort. Mm-hmm. So imagine hitting an overhead serve, but now you have to contort your body to have the top part of the paddle below the level of the wrist. It's going to make your serve so much worse trying to hit it from any higher than your belly button. The belly button is actually the ideal place, the ideal height to hit the ball, as long as you have those other 2 rules, which is upwards motion and paddle head below the level of the wrist. If you got rid of the paddle head below the level of the wrist, but still had the height requirement, you'd be fine as well. And if you got rid of the upwards motion, but still had the other 2 rules, you'd be fine. So in any situation, one of the 3 rules is irrelevant, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't really solve the problem because the other 2 are unenforceable as well.
So let's just do a drop serve and call it a day.
I'm with you. I'm a big drop serve fan. I'm a huge drop serve fan. It was part of my article. I was like, if we actually want to fix the unenforceability of the rule, the drop serve is the way to do it. Tommy, what do you think about the drop serve?
I just think optically it looks junior varsity.
Why?
It just does. It's just like...
Great reasoning.
Yeah. It's totally subjective and qualitative. Like there's no way to really like illustrate why I think it looks junior varsity, for lack of a better term, but it just does. It just looks like Weenie Hut Juniors.
Mm. Oh, that's a good SpongeBob reference.
That is.
Yeah.
I actually tweeted Weenie Hut Juniors. I said, this is the Players Council meeting room. Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So,
did you see the clip of me hitting a drop serve?
Yeah.
You
like
thought
the
that
one,
looked JV?
not in a match.
Oh, yeah,
you're
dude.
saying.
Yeah.
No, you made it look
like
pretty
freshman
good.
B team. Yeah.
And we've talked about this before, but like when they first started to talk about the drop serve, Tyson went out and recorded a bunch of drop serves, and like that video went viral.
I remember that.
In pickleball, because at that time there was like no pickleball counts. Now there's infinity. But
Yeah, pickleball Twitter's it started from nothing, and we're
yeah, and like
off.
pickleball Instagram.
pickleball Discord.
There's so many people creating content now. But Tyson released that video and everyone was like, whoa, drop serve's too crazy. We can't do this. Then he did it in a match and it was just like irrelevant. He went right back to a normal serve. So
CoreVive Hydrate is an advanced electrolyte drink mixed designed to ensure optimal hydration, essential for managing nerve, muscle, and brain function. The Hydrate formula is NSF certified for sport and is free of artificial colors and sweeteners. With 4 times less sugar and 3 times the electrolytes of grocery brands, the pure cane sugar aids in the efficient absorption of electrolytes, making it superior to water alone. Hydrate is used by more than 4 MLB teams, and Pink Lemonade is available in stick packs or a tub. You can get a whole tub of this stuff, Zane. Use code PICKLE30 at corevive.com. That's CORVIVE.com to save 30% on your order. Additional talking points at this file.
that's good stuff. They should have to pay a premium for that one. I mean, that's gold. You think I could have used some CoreVive that day? We played at your house when I was cramping up.
Tummy ache survivor over here.
Yeah.
Cramping. Yeah. I think you probably could have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, dollar has gone, yeah.